Well, it's one of the most storied and historic ballparks in all of Major League Baseball. We're live from Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois for another exhibition edition of MLB The Show 19. It'll be the Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the Chicago Cubs. Don't miss the action coming up next. Well, we're live from Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. My name's Tyler Williams. Thank you for joining us tonight for this showdown between the Dodgers and the Cubs. For the Cubs, Joe Madden will call on ace Jon Lester to face off against these Los Angeles Dodgers. Jon Lester in 2018 was 18-6, and in 181 innings pitched, he had a 3.32 ERA, gave up 174 hits, walked 64, and had 146 strikeouts. Jon Lester, very well respected in the world of baseball. First pitch 7 p.m. is over for a strike. Lester, who of course
first pitch 7 o'clock,
had those battles with cancer and still going strong in the major leagues today. It's the leadoff hitter A.J. Pollock flies this one out to center field, and Albert Amora Jr. is going to be over to make the easy grab for out number one.
batting second, the shortstop, Corey Seager.
And so with that, we'll have a chance to take a look at the Los Angeles Dodgers starting lineup. A.J. Pollock just flew out to the center fielder. Corey Seager, the shortstop, batting second. Justin Turner at third base and batting third. Cody Bellinger in the cleanup spot and playing right field. David Freese at first base, batting fifth. Chris Taylor at second. Kiki Hernandez in left. Austin Barnes catching, and Walker Buehler on the mound and batting ninth. Well, it's a bit of a nasty day. Overcast, as you can see. The fog is relatively thick. 72 degrees to start us off tonight, as Corey Seager quickly down 0-2 as he swings through the second offering. Chance to take a look at the umpires here. Home plate umpire Clyde Washington, you can see on your screen. Ed Drummond at third. And obviously there's a first and second base umpire. Would be really great if MLB The Show had a feature where I could look and see who the umpires are so that I could write that information down. 1-2 count on the way. And it's going to be swung on and missed, but it's going to get away from catcher Wilson Contreras, and Seager's going to be able to make it to first, so it'll be a strikeout and a wild pitch, as you can see on your screen there. That's how that'll be scored. And so Jon Lester will have to get 4 outs to end this inning as he strikes out Seager, but able to take advantage is Seager, and he stands on first with Justin Turner striding up to the plate. He hit .312 last year with 14 home runs and 52 RBIs. He's going to pop this one over back behind first base, and Anthony Rizzo is going to range back. So on the first pitch, he sees Justin Turner with a routine fly ball out to shallow right that first baseman Anthony Rizzo is able to make the play on. That brings up Cody Bellinger. You can see his numbers there from 2018, a .260 hitter, 25 RBIs and 76, I'm sorry, I should say 25 home runs and 76 RBIs. This Dodgers team, who recently appeared in back-to-back World Series and not able to bring one home, it's got to be disheartening. As a Rangers fan, I can empathize with that feeling. Rangers, of course, making back-to-back World Series in 2010 and 2011 and not able to bring home the title of world champions. That one fouled off by Bellinger, brings the count to 2-2. And the payoff pitch on the way from Lester. That one will be fouled off as well. So the stats for today's game, as you will see on your screen today, are all from 2018, but of course a lot of baseball has been played since then, as this one skied out to center field. Center fielder Almora Jr. gives chase and makes the catch on the warning track, so that'll retire the side for the Dodgers. They get one on base on the strikeout. Cubs will be up next. So Walker Buehler will take the mound for the Los Angeles Dodgers here tonight. Last year in 23 starts, he had an 8-5 record with a 2.62 ERA. And he did have 151 strikeouts, only walked 37 batters. A guy who has pretty good control of his stuff. And first off, Ben Zobrist will step into the box to try to take Buehler to task here. He'll watch the first pitch go by for a strike. Looked like a cutter or maybe a slider perhaps, in there at 87 miles an hour. And Zobrist drives this one out towards right center field, but the center fielder, A.J. Pollock, is going to make the sliding catch, and that'll be on SportsCenter tonight. Looked like that one was going to get down and in the gap off of the bat, but A.J. Pollock ranging over and into the slide, an all-or-nothing kind of play, and it paid off for him. Chris Bryant, the third baseman, steps into the box. Last year in 102 games, he had a 272 average, 13 home runs, 52 RBIs. Chris Bryant, of course, this past off season being in between the 2019 and 2020 seasons, of course, had that appeal that he filed regarding his service time. Major league players are required to accumulate 6 years of service time before they're allowed to test the free agent market. Chris Bryant argued that he, in his rookie season, had put up enough time to have that considered a full year of service. The arbitrator disagreeing, and so Chris Bryant will be on the hook for 2 more years with the Cubs as he flies this one out to the right fielder, Jason Hayward. Cody Bellinger. And the Cubs are now down to their final out of the inning. Chance to take a look at the Cubs starting lineup. You see it there on your screen. Ben Zobrist playing second, batting first. Chris Bryant, we just saw fly out to right field, playing third base, batting second. Anthony Rizzo, you'll see up next. He's playing first. Javier Baez, the shortstop, in the cleanup spot. Kyle Schwarber, batting fifth, playing left. Wilson Contreras, catching and batting sixth. Jason Hayward in right field. And batting seventh, Albert Amora Jr., batting eighth in center field. And the pitcher, John Lester, will round out this lineup tonight. Buehler with his first offering on the way to Rizzo. It'll be a breaking ball that down and inside. And so the count's 1-0. He's going to drive this one out to right field. The right fielder, Bellinger, gives chase, and he's going to be under this one in plenty of time. Off the bat, it looked like that had maybe a chance, but it's going to fall short for the final out of the inning. Freese, Taylor, and Hernandez up next. First baseman David Freese into the box to start off this top of the second inning. Freese last year hitting .296 with 11 home runs and 51 RBIs. David Freese, of course, began his career in St. Louis as he skies this one over and into the crowd on the first base side. Becoming a legend among St. Louis fans for his performance in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series. Easily one of the most heartbreaking nights of my life as a Rangers fan. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Nope, that's off the plate.
That offering from Lester is a little bit low and brings the count even at 2-2. And Freese is going to drive this one over to the first base side, but Anthony Rizzo showing his hops a little bit as he gets up off of the ground to make the jumping catch for that one. As we mentioned earlier, the Cubs have Rizzo over at first, Zobrist at second, Baez at short, and Bryant over at third base. That's not a bad infield. Probably one of the better defensive infield lineups in the league. This one's going to be driven over to the left side of the infield and past Baez, who extended but could not make the play.
Batting seventh, the left fielder, PK.
And so the Los Angeles Dodgers, with their first hit of the night, Chris Taylor able to get on base with the 1-out single. So John Lester will see pitch from the stretch for the first time tonight. Kiki Hernandez in the box now, 256 hitter with 21 home runs and 52 RBIs last year. Slotted to play second base for the Dodgers in present day. Should we be allowed to play baseball in 2020? Kiki Hernandez drives that one on the ground to the first base side, but it's going to be foul. 1-2 the count. And he pops this one up to center field. Almora Jr., the center fielder, underneath it. He's going to make the easy grab and get it back into the infield quickly. 2 away.
Batting eighth, the catcher, Austin Barnes.
So Austin Barnes, the catcher, barely hitting above the Mendoza line in 2018. But he did have 4 home runs and 14 RBIs, so sometimes a threat to go deep, not very often though. Again, as we tried to mention earlier in this broadcast, the stats that you'll see on your screen tonight are from the 2018 season. And Lester with a great move over to first base. He's going to catch Taylor leaning, and they throw him out at second base, so Taylor caught stealing to end the inning. Baez, Schwarber, and Contreras up next for the Cubs.
Leading off for the Cubs,
So Javier Baez
shortstop,
into the box to lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Cubs. Baez, of course, playing short tonight. He was a .290 hitter with 34 home runs and 111 RBIs in 2018. And let's go ahead and get this out of the way at the beginning of the inning, since I've been cut off twice trying to explain why there may be some discrepancies in some of the stats tonight. Again, this is MLB The Show 19, so all of the stats that are preloaded onto the game are from the 2018 season, but I do have updated stats for some of these players from the 2019 season. So I may make reference to different stats and RBIs and things like that, just to give you a little bit of an updated picture on how these guys are performing a little bit later on in their career. Baez waves and misses at that one, and get a chance to take a look at the Dodgers' defensive setup. Got to keep an eye on. We've already seen him make a great play out in center tonight. That's A.J. Pollock. They say center fielder is the captain of the defense. Well, at least in the outfield. So Kyle Schwarber into the box for the Cubs. 238 hitter in 2018. He starts off this at bat with a strike, and quickly down 0-2 is the 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Walker Buehler. Beautifully placed, and it's going to be a called strike 2. And checked his swing, but the home plate umpire says he went. Ball's in the dirt, so Austin Barnes will pick that one up and throw over to the first baseman, David Freese. And so Walker Buehler has struck out the first 2 hitters he's faced in this inning. That brings up Wilson Contreras. He was an all-star last year. Well, in 2018. Again, this game being released before the 2019's regular season.
One ball.
Contreras swings and misses at that breaking ball, brings the count to 1-2.
That's a ball.
Buehler going to a breaking ball again, but this time just a little bit too low and outside. 10-inch break on that pitch. Buehler is a guy who does have a lot of movement on those breaking balls, and when he has command of them, he is tough to hit. And so Walker Buehler, and a very impressive showing, is going to strike out the side in order. We're still scoreless in this one. At the end of the second, Dodgers will take their hacks up next. So Austin Barnes, who was up at the plate at the end of the last inning when Chris Taylor was caught stealing, will step back into the box here to lead off the top of the third. And he'll watch the first pitch go by for a strike. He's going to take a hack at this one. It's going to be off the end of the bat, but it'll roll foul. So the count is now 0-2. Lester with the payoff pitch. Tried to get him to chase something upstairs there, but was able to lay off of it.
Nope, upstairs.
And that one looked like it maybe could have gone either way, but home plate umpire says that's a little high. You get a look at it there. Right at about the lettering, so a good call from our home plate umpire. And for the third consecutive pitch, Lester tries to get him to chase an upstairs fastball. Barnes lays off, and so now the count is full at 3-2 with the pitcher Buehler on deck. And after getting him down 0-2, Lester is going to walk him on the next 4 pitches. And so Barnes standing on first, Buehler coming up. You got to think maybe there might be a sacrifice bunt on the way. But Buehler, he's no slouch at the plate himself. He hit 163 and contributed a run to his cause last year. So he can swing the bat when necessary, but he's going to square around a bunt here. It's down the first base line, but a little bit too hard. And how many times do you see that as the attempted sacrifice bunt from Walker Buehler is going to turn into a 3-6-1 double play. A little bit unconventional, not exactly how you draw it up, but John Lester now back in the windup as there's 2 away. And this one is going to be driven up the infield on the ground and thrown on to first by the shortstop Baez. That'll do it for the Dodgers in this half inning. Hayward, Almora Jr., and Lester coming up next for the Cubs. Jason Hayward, you can see it on your screen there, a 5-time Gold Glove winner. He's stepping in to take his first hacks of the evening. A .270 hitter in 2018. One of the most coveted players on the free agent market when he tested free agency back a few years ago. First pitch he sees is fouled off to the third base side. 0-1. So we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. Wrigley Field, of course, one of the most historic ballparks in the history of Major League Baseball. First opened in 1914 for, at the time, the Chicago Whales of the Federal League. Federal League, of course, folding in 1915, and then the Cubs took over in this ballpark in 1916. They've been playing here ever since, as Hayward is going to break his bat. A little bit of a swinging bunt here as the bat breaks, but Hayward with that speed is going to be able to leg this one out for a single. Right off the hands of the bat, as you can see on the replay there. And forced Buehler to come off of the mound and try to have to make that play, change directions, as all of his momentum was taking him towards the third base line. There was just no chance to catch the speedy Hayward. And so the first hit of the night is an infield hit, and that brings up Albert Almora Jr., a .286 hitter with 5 home runs and 41 RBIs back in 2018. And he watches the first pitch go by, a 96-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 1.
Ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So Wrigley Field, the home of the Chicago Cubs ever since 1916, and did not win a single World Series until just 2016. Joe Madden did not like that call. You can see him voicing his opinion from the Cubs dugout. 1-2 pitch on the way to Almora Jr. Swung on and given a ride out to right center field. It looks like this one's going to split the gap. It does. It's off the ivy. And Hayward is going to come all the way around from first to score. And the Chicago Cubs here in the bottom of the third are out to a 1-0 lead off of the Albert Almora Jr. stand-up double. A great piece of hitting there. He got a breaking ball with a 2-strike count that I think maybe caught a little bit more of the plate than Walker Buehler wanted. And it gets down, so the Cubs take the lead. And the pitcher Lester squares around to bunt. Of course, still no outs here in the bottom of the third and a runner on second. Why not move him up? As Almora Jr.
Now batting, second baseman.
Retreats back to second and does not advance on the sacrifice bunt attempt. That one did come off the bat pretty quickly, and the third baseman, Justin Turner, had no problems making that play. And so back to the top of the lineup, Ben Zobrist watches the first pitch go by for a ball. And in similar fashion, we'll watch this breaking ball inside for ball 2. So 3 straight balls from pitcher Walker Buehler. And Ben Zobrist now has him exactly where he wants him. If you're just joining in, thank you for being here with us. We're coming at you from Wrigley Field. Cubs taking the lead just a moment ago off the Albert Almora Jr. double. Full count here to Zobrist. And Buehler, after falling behind 3-0, is going to come all the way back to strike out Ben Zobrist. And after that ball 3, you can see the catcher Austin Barnes motioning for him to just take a breath and take a step back, and it appears Buehler did that, as on the next 3 pitches he's able to strike out Ben Zobrist. So 2 away. Almora Jr. standing on second. And the first pitch to the third baseman, Bryant, is going to be over for a strike. Bryant waves and misses at the 0-1 offering from Walker Buehler. Quickly falls behind 0-2. In 2019, Chris Bryant was 77 RBIs. Certainly a guy that you're comfortable with having up in this situation. You can hear the lone MVP chant from someone in the crowd. And Chris Bryant is going to wave and miss. And so Walker Buehler, despite the 2 hits in this inning, is rolling right through this lineup. Albert Almora Jr. with the stand-up double puts the Cubs up 1-0. Those are not your commentators. My name is Tyler Williams. I've turned out the commentator volume. I'm trying to find my rhythm here. I apologize for the sloppiness of this broadcast so far to the one person watching.
Nope, that's low.
Corey Seager, the shortstop, into the box. He struck out but was able to find his way over to first base on the pass ball. This time he's going to ground out to Rizzo over at first.
Third baseman, Justin Turner.
And so grounded over to the third baseman Bryant and thrown over to Rizzo without issue.
Now batting, the right fielder.
And so one third baseman grounds out to the other. We have 2 away very quickly here in the top of the 4th. Brings up the right fielder, Cody Bellinger, who's out in front of that one, fouls it off down the right field line, rather. And if you're just joining us, we have had some technical difficulties so far here tonight. We've also had a little bit of sloppy commentating for myself, but hey, you're tuning into a video game computer versus computer broadcast that's being broadcasted from my bedroom, so what kind of quality did you expect? 1 and 2 on the way. It's fouled off, and so the count will stay right where it's at. Lester, the 1-2 offering, is swung on and missed. And so the side is retired. John Lester now rolling. Rizzo, Baez, and Schwarber coming up for the Cubs in the bottom of the 4th.
Leading off for the Cubs, the first baseman.
So the first baseman, Anthony Rizzo, steps into the box. They're looking to add on to the run they got across last inning off the Almora Jr. double. Rizzo watches the first pitch go by, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Right down the heart of the plate and about thigh high. Finds himself behind 0-1. And he's going to take a rip at that one. But he's way out in front. He'll be over and into the crowd. Counts quickly, 0-2.
Oh, 1 and 2.
So we were mentioning earlier the history of this ballpark. Again, just to recap, opened in 1914 for the Chicago Whales of the Federal League and taken over by the Cubs in 2016. I apologize, 1916 rather. After the Federal League folded in 1915. They played their first game here on April 20th. 1916, they beat the Cincinnati Reds. Score of that game was 7-6. After 11 innings of play, as we watch Rizzo swing and miss at the breaking ball for out number 1. And Buehler is just really having his way with this Cubs lineup. It's now 6 strikeouts for him already. Javier Baez, one of those strikeout victims. He struck out back in the 2nd inning. So the Cubs renamed Cubs Park, which they had named it after moving into the field initially. Renamed it to Wrigley Field in 1927. Before it was Cubs Park, it was Weigman Park. And this is considered the quintessential ballpark nestled into the north side community area of Lakeview in the Wrigleyville neighborhood, hence the name Wrigley Field. And if it sounds like I'm just reading this off of a Wikipedia page, that's because I'm reading this off of a Wikipedia page. Really having some fun with this one tonight. 3-2 count to Baez. Full count. Buehler's 3-2 offering on the way. And that ball is driven out to left field. Baez is going to watch that one go. No doubt home run to straightaway left field, and now the Cubs lead 2-0. And you see the bullpen having a little bit of fun And why not? They are having their way early in this ball game as they're out to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the fourth, and Baez on the 3-2 count must have been looking fastball because he got it and he knew what to do with it, turning that one around. An exit velocity of 108.9 miles per hour, and that one hung up in the air, folks, for 7.63 seconds and traveled 461 feet. The definition of a no-doubter. Kyle Schwarber looks to follow up the magnificent display by Javier Baez. He struck out in his last plate appearance, but he's up to a 1-0 count here in this one. This one's going to be fouled off and into the crowd. 1-1 count on 1-1 pitch, I should say, on the way. And now Schwarber is going to drive this one to the opposite field, and that's a no-doubt home run. You can put that one on the board, as now the Cubs have hit back-to-back home runs. And boy, you would think that they're feeling it here tonight. These Cubs fans on their feet. They like what they're seeing. And Schwarber, for the second at bat in a row, drives a Walker Buehler fastball into the stands.
Now batting, catcher
Wilson Contreras looking to make it back-to-back home runs. He is a deep ball threat as he hit 10 home runs in 2018. And in 2019, put up 24.
Oh. 1-1.
This count at 1-1.
Ball. 1 strike. Inside, ball 3.
Walker Buehler struggling to find his command after giving up those back-to-back home runs. The count is 3-1. One pitch on the way. This one's going to be skied out to left field. This one does not have the distance. And the left fielder, Kiki Hernandez, is going to settle underneath it to make the play. And that's out number 2. Walker Buehler is a guy who is known to give up the long ball on occasion. In 2019, he gave up 20 home runs. However, had a 3.26 ERA. Of course, we mentioned in 2018 he had a 2.62, so not a guy who gets rattled a lot, though the long ball may be a bit of a problem for him. Jason Hayward's quickly down 0-2 as he swings and misses at the 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Couldn't catch up to that one. 0-2 pitch on the way. And Hayward's going to foul this one off. Not a guy who strikes out easily. He is going to go down here, however, as he watches that one go by. 95-mile-an-hour fastball caught the outside part of the plate. And so Walker Buehler gets out of this inning, but not before giving up back-to-back home runs. Cubs lead this one 3-0. We'll skip whatever Heidi Watney has to say here as She is
Leading off for the Dodgers, the first
not
baseman,
able to be
number
heard.
25,
Commentator volume
David
embedded within the game is turned off so that you can hear my beautiful voice. John Lester starts off this at bat with a breaking ball that misses outside for a ball. David Freese standing in, and the count is now even at 1-1 as the 92-mile-an-hour fastball is in there for a strike. One on the way. And this one's driven to the right side of the infield, down the right field line, but into the crowd. Foul ball. And Freese is going to drive this one into center field. The center fielder, Amora Jr., is going to lay out and try to make the play, but it's off his glove. He's able to recover quickly and get the ball back in. He'll be holding to a single here. John Lester tonight in 4 innings pitched. That's only his second hit allowed. He has walked one batter tonight, and he has 2 strikeouts. He's got to feel comfortable with that 3-0 lead here in the top of the 5th. And Chris Taylor, who has the only other hit of the night, stands in and watches the first pitch, a breaking ball, go by for ball 1. David Freese standing on first base, and Taylor up at the plate as the Dodgers look to try to get back into this ball game. That one a called strike at the knees. Brings the count to 2-1. Well, John Lester, at 38 years of age, back in 2006, when he was 22, was diagnosed with a rare form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, form of blood cancer. He was with the Red Sox at the time. This one's going to be hit up the middle. Second baseman Zobrist flips over to the shortstop Baez, but Chris Taylor is able to leg that one out, and they'll be held to just the 1. Joe Maddox looks on. Lester, as we mentioned, was member of the Boston Red Sox at the time. But of course, he was able to get treatment, beat the cancer, as Taylor is going to take second base here. And now the Dodgers have a runner in scoring position. Good throw from Contreras there, but not in time to catch the speedy Taylor. Payoff pitch from Lester. On the way. Kicks and throws. And it's swung on and missed by Kiki Hernandez. And there's now 2 away.
Now batting, catcher.
That brings up the catcher, Austin Barnes, who walked in his first plate appearance. He watches the first pitch that he sees in this at-bat go by for a ball. Well, despite the offense from the Cubs tonight, this has been a relatively fast-paced game. At this point in the broadcast, we're sitting at 44 minutes. Going on 45.
Ball, inside.
And Lester is behind in this count, 3-0. Austin Barnes, not a guy that you would necessarily want to pitch around, but he's going to drive this one out to center field on the 3-0 pitch, had the green light. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be an easy play for the center fielder, Almora Jr. And he'll lead off for the Cubs when we come back. Albert Almora Jr., who kicked off the Cubs offense here tonight with that RBI double, back in the third inning. Stands in and looks to take his hacks and his second at bat of the evening, I should say. Watches the first pitch go by about knee high on the inside corner, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. The Cubs tonight donning those white and blue pinstripe unis. Classic look. The 0-2 on the way to Almora is going to be fouled off, so he stays alive. Walker Buehler already up to 68 pitches at this point in the game. And Almora Jr., with a weak sort of half swing, is going to ground out to the shortstop Seager for out number 1. And that brings up John Lester. And we'll get to see him swing the bat here as he stands in with nobody on. John Lester takes a hack at that one, 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but can't catch up to it. He's going to put this one in play over to the left side of the infield. The shortstop Seager over to field that one cleanly and throws over to first baseman David Freese for out number 2.
Up next for the Cubs, the second baseman.
And so after giving up the back-to-back home runs to Javier Baez and Kyle Schwarber last inning, Walker Buehler is back to his normal form as there are 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. This one driven to the left side of the infield, down the third base line, but it's going to be foul from Zobrist. The payoff pitch on the way from Walker Buehler. And it's going to be well inside as that one drills Zobrist. He was one pitch away from retiring the side. And instead, there's now a runner standing on first base for the Cubs. Chris Bryant, the third baseman, steps up, looking to extend this lead for the Cubs here with 2 outs. Watches the first pitch go by on the inside part of the plate for a strike. Walker Buehler, despite the three runs on the board and the 2 home runs last inning, has only given up 4 hits. He's also struck out 6 Cubs hitters tonight. So other than a few mistakes, he has been pretty solid for these Dodgers tonight. But this is a Cubs lineup who can make you pay for those mistakes.
2-2.
Breaking ball on the 1-2 count, misses, and that'll bring the count even at 2-2. And the payoff pitch is on the way from Buehler.
Okay.
That one will miss outside. 3-2. And so with 2 outs and a full count, you got to expect that. Well, you have to expect that Ben Zobrist will be on the move here from first, as the 3-2 pitch is fouled off by Bryant. This one drilled down the third base line into the crowd. And if you're just joining us, thank you for being here. The Cubs lead in this one 3-0. That offensive attack spearheaded by back-to-back home runs in the last inning by Javier Baez and Kyle Schwarber, as Chris Bryant is able to draw the walk here. And so with 2 outs, there are now 2 on. And Anthony Rizzo stepping up to the plate. Not a guy who you mind having up in this situation. 101 RBIs back in 2018. And, of course,
No ball. 1 strike.
on par year for him last year as he drove in 94. And this one's in the dirt. It's going to get past the catcher Barnes, and both runners are going to advance. That'll be a wild pitch as that one hit the dirt before catcher Barnes was able to get a hand on it. But as a former catcher myself, you know, I think he's got to make that play. I mean, it hit the dirt right in front of him. You called for the curveball. You got to expect that coming. As the first base coach Warner is in no hurry to get that dead ball off the field. Payoff pitch on the way from Buehler is going to be swung on and missed by Rizzo, so he's able to escape any further harm here in the bottom of the 5th. Side is retired. Cubs still lead this one 3-0.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Los Angeles.
And so Max Muncy
Number 13.
will come on to pinch hit for the pitcher Buehler. 263 hitter in 2018 with 35 home runs. He led this Dodgers team. First pitch he sees is going to be fouled off. Max Muncy in 2019 hit 35 home runs as well, with 98 driven in. He looks to kickstart this Dodgers offense that's been virtually non-existent here tonight. O2 pitch on the way is going to be high and a bit inside. Muncy not having to think twice about that one. Pitch fouled off. And so the count is extended, or the at bat I should say is extended. Count stays where it's at 1-2. And the 1-2 misses that time, brings the count even at 2-2. John Lester asking the home plate umpire just a bit high. You can see him motioning there. And Muncy's going to fight this one off. 2 strikes swinging as that one was a bit off the plate, but he's able to get it off the end of the bat and sneak it through the infield and past third baseman Chris Bryant as he extended for that one, but not able to make the play. And so the Dodgers, for the first time tonight, have their leadoff man on base. And we're back to the top of the order with A.J. Pollock. He's going to fly this one out to center field, and it's going to get down. The center fielder, Armora Jr., not able to make the play. Not sure if he lost that one in the lights or what exactly happened, as it looked like he was ranging back to make a routine play, but he's not able to get to it in time. And so instead of one out and a runner on first, it's going to be runners on second and third with nobody out. And all of a sudden, things are very interesting here in the top of the sixth. Corey Seager, the shortstop, up to the plate looking to drive in those two runners standing on second and third. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout and a weak ground out over to the first base side. But if he can get a hit here, all would be forgotten. 1-1 count. John Lester kicks and throws. And it's going to be fouled off. That brings the count to 1-2. Pollock with a nice lead off of second. He's not the lead runner, and that one's going to be off the mitt of the catcher Contreras, but it doesn't get far, so those runners will stay where they're at. And the 2-2 pitch misses. Counts full at 3-2. Justin Turner on deck. And Seager's gonna sky this one over to the shortstop Baez, who's able to make the play. And we have one away.
Up next for the Dodgers.
So Seager not seeing the ball very well tonight as he struck out, and the two balls that he has put in play tonight have been a weak ground ball and a weak fly out over the shortstop. And that brings up Justin Turner. It's 0 for 2 tonight with a pop out and a ground out. Saw the numbers there in 2018 for Turner as he watches the first pitch go by for a strike. In 2019, Turner really stepped it up a level, or two, as he hit 27 home runs, drove in 67, and had a 290 clip in that batting average category.
1-1.
Watches that one go by for a ball. And this one's driven on the ground back towards the mound, and Lester's able to make the play, showing off his athleticism there as he gets off the mound quickly and throws over to the first baseman Rizzo without issue, and now there's two away. Cody Bellinger, also a strikeout victim tonight, is going to stride in. Now he is a guy that you have to be careful with, as he starts him off with a changeup that he was way out in front of for strike one. Cody Bellinger last year hitting 47 home runs with 115 RBIs. He's a guy who, if anyone in this Dodgers lineup could tie this game up with just one swing of the bat, it would be Bellinger. Checks his swing, but home plate umpire says that's a strike anyway. 1-2. And he swings on and misses. The 2019 National League MVP is not able to come through for his team, and the lead is intact for the Cubs. It's 3-0. And we will jump right back into the action as soon as we skip Heidi Watney, the sideline reporter.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now,
and as Walker Buehler
number 51
was pinch hit for last inning, Dylan Floro will come on in relief. He had a 2.25 ERA with 54 appearances last year.
Leading off for the Cubs.
They'll try to keep this lead
Javier.
from getting any larger for the Cubs here tonight. First pitch of the evening tonight from Floro is down the heart of the plate at 96 miles an hour for a strike. And on the nice breaking ball, he's going to get Almora to chase here. Or Baez, I should say. And the count's 0-2. The payoff pitch is well inside. Baez didn't even have to think about that one. Baez, back in the 4th inning, started off the back-to-back home run stretch for the Cubs. A no-doubt home run that topped 461 feet. And an impressive almost 8 seconds of hang time. And this one's driven to the left side, and no chance for the third baseman, Justin Turner, or the shortstop, Corey Seager, to make a play as that one easily splits the infield. Just a great piece of two-strike hitting, and that's the second at bat in a row we've seen that from Baez. As he starts off this half of the inning for the Cubs with a single. Kyle Schwarber on the 1-0 offering, fouls it off, brings the count even to 1-1. So in 2019, not a great year for Dylan Floro, as this one is driven on the ground to the second baseman. Chris Taylor, who fields it cleanly, flips it over to Corey Seager and throws on to David Freese for the double play. And the Cubs started off this inning with a leadoff single, but it's going to be negated just as quickly as it came, as Floro able to get Schwarber to ground into the double play. As I was saying, in 2019, 5-3 record for Floro with a 4.24 ERA in 50 appearances. 46 and 2/3 innings pitched. He did strike out 42. Not a year to write home about, not a year to be ashamed about either. But definitely not the 262 type of season that we saw that he had in 2018. And this one's going to be driven out to left field. It's got a chance. The left fielder, Kiki Hernandez, is at the wall, and he's going to look up and watch that one go as Wilson Contreras extends this lead for the Cubs. I thought off the bat that was going to be a routine fly ball, but it just kept carrying. Here again, this weather tonight, it's a little bit dreary. We've got an overcast sky. Temperature sitting at around 72. But the wind is blowing out here in the Windy City. And that ball just kept carrying until it finally found its way over the left field wall. And so for the third time tonight, the Cubs have homered in this one, and they now lead this one 4-0. That brings up Jason Hayward, who's 1 for 2 on the night. And he's going to drive this one out to center field. Really more of a routine pop out. As the center fielder, A.J. Pollock is going to be able to make the play, but not before. Wilson Contreras extends this lead for the Cubs. They're sitting comfortably at the end of the 6th. It's 4-0. Chance to take a look at the box score here tonight. The Los Angeles Dodgers, of course, no runs on 4 hits, and the Cubs sitting pretty right now with a 4-0 lead on 6 hits. Of course, the highlight of the night, the back-to-back home runs back in the 4th inning by Javier Baez and Kyle Schwarber.
First baseman, number 25.
And David Freese will step into the box to face Lester for the 3rd time tonight.
Ball, ball.
And this one's going to be hit softly on the ground over to the third base side. Chris Bryant has to charge in. Fields it cleanly. And makes the impressive
Now batting,
running throw
second baseman,
over to the first baseman, Rizzo.
Taylor.
One away here in the top of the 7th. Chris Taylor steps into the box. 1 for 2 with a single. If you'll recall, he did steal second base after singling in his last plate appearance. Chris Taylor, a guy who in 2019 had 3 stolen bases.
2-0.
He's up 2-0 to start off this at bat. On the way. Is in there for a strike.
2-1.
John Lester has been in a really good groove in this one. He's only thrown 84 pitches.
3 balls, 1 strike.
Pitching shutout baseball here. Here in the top of the 7th. Has only given up 4 hits. 3-1 count to Chris Taylor here, and Lester kicks and throws.
3 balls.
And that one looked like it might have been a little bit low. Home plate umpire says that it caught the knees. 3-2 count.
Ball 4.
And that one's inside. So if that 3-1 pitch was low, all it did was delay the walk. As Chris Taylor, for the 3rd time tonight, 2nd time rather, finds himself standing on first base. We'll see if he maybe wants to try to swipe second again.
Ball 1-0.
Kiki Hernandez playing left field tonight. That was his primary role in the 2018 season when he took the field for the Dodgers. But in 2019, I should say 2019 rather, but in 2020 is slotted to be the Dodgers' 2nd baseman. Again, play being suspended across all major sports leagues as a result of the COVID-19 global pandemic, and an attempt to flatten the curve. Social distancing, flatten the curve, essential workers, all phrases that are being tossed around as first the first baseman Rizzo tried to throw onto second to start the double play. He doesn't make an accurate throw, and it squirts out into left field, and then the left fielder Schwarber not able to field that one cleanly on the backup, and that's going to allow a run to score as Taylor comes all the way around from first. You can score that one in E3 and an E7. I actually don't think that's how that works. I'm not sure how to score that, as in my 3 years of commentating experience at high school games, I don't think that I've ever seen that happen in succession like that.
No, that's low.
And if I have, I did not have the opportunity to ask what that would be scored as. The official scorer's decision was an E7, and if you're unfamiliar with why that is, of course every position has a number when it comes to scoring, as Lester falls behind in this count. 3-0. Catcher Contreras trying to calm him down. But every position on the field having a number, in left field is the 7th position. And so with the error being committed by the left fielder Schwarber, hence the E7. John Lester will take another look at his numbers. 6 1/3 innings pitched. Still only 4 hits and 1 run now given up, but that run was not earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 4 in 95 pitches.
For Los Angeles, number 61.
And so as we come up on the 9th spot in the order, the Dodgers will send up a pinch hitter for Dylan Floro. It's going to be Alex Vertigo, 260 hitter with 1 home run and 4 RBIs in his limited experience in 2018. Did not spend the entire year with the Dodgers, and when he was with the Dodgers, he was mostly a pinch hitter.
1-1.
Watches that one go by for a ball. Runners on first and second. The 1-1 on the way from Lester is a nice looking breaking ball that he tried to have catch that inside corner. I think he did it, but it's fouled off by Vertigo. The 99th pitch of the evening is fouled off by Vertigo. And the count stands at 1-2. Pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball that Vertigo is able to lay off of, and the count's even at 2-2. And I just got to say, Vertigo is such a fun name to say. I don't know why. I'm just really enjoying it. I don't know if you noticed that I said that name like 15 times within a span of 6 seconds. The 2-2 pitch is a little bit high, and Vertigo checked his swing in time, says the third base umpire. And he's going to drive this one out to center field. Almora Jr. ranging back. He is going to make the catch just shy of the warning track. And now the runner's going to tag up from second. And I'm not sure what happened as I looked down at my score sheet to try to write down that was a sacrifice fly, but I guess an error has been committed as there are runners on first and third. So with 2 outs, there are runners on first and third. Oh-2 count to A.J. Pollock. There were runners on first and second, and I didn't have it on my score sheet here. My apologies. Another thing slipping through the cracks here in this broadcast tonight as Lester strikes out Pollock, and it'll be a 4-1 lead now for the Cubs.
Your attention, please.
Yimi Garcia now on in relief.
Number 63.
For Vertigo, who pinch hit for Dylan Floro. In 25 appearances last year, he had a 5.64 ERA. I said last year, I meant 2018.
The center fielder, Albert Almora.
No. One ball, no strike.
And he's going to start off this inning with a 1-0, with a ball for the 1-0 count. Almora Jr., after fouling off the last pitch down the third base line, watches that one go by for a called strike, and the count's 1-2.
2-2.
This one a bit low. Almora Jr. in the 8 hole. John Lester now up over 100 pitches. You got to assume, regardless of how this at bat turns out, the Cubs rather, will likely have someone pinch hit for Lester, and so we can assume that his night has ended. But now the count's full to Albert Almora, and the 3-2 is outside, and so Almora draws the walk.
Now batting, the pitcher.
And once again, the Cubs have their leadoff hitter on base.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Pinch hitting
So
for the
Daniel
Cubs,
Descalso
number 3, Daniel Descalso.
pinch hitting for John Lester. The 32-year-old second baseman in 2019. In 360 at bats, hit 272 with 24 home apologies. Descalso hit 173 as we watch him fly out with 2 home runs and 15 RBIs.
The second baseman, Fred.
So not exactly what they had in mind here, as Descalso quickly pops out into foul territory. But that does bring us back to the top of the order, with Ben Zobrist swinging and missing at the first pitch in this at bat. He was hit by that Buehler fastball back in the 5th inning after being down 0-2. And once again tonight, he finds himself down 0-2. Albert Almora Jr. standing on first base. I'm sure the Cubs would like to put some insurance runs on the board as we get into the later innings, but it'll have to wait until at least the next at bat, as Ben Zobrist strikes out swinging here. So Yemi Garcia walked the first batter that he faced in Albert Almora Jr. this inning, but has bounced back as he got Descalso to pop out in foul territory and Ben Zobrist to strike out. And so that brings up the third baseman, Chris Bryant, who's still hitless on the night. Sure, he would like to get something going here. Instead, he's going to swing and miss at the 1-0 offering. And this ball driven into the gap in left center field. It's going to get down. Albert Almora Jr. will round third, and he's going to head home. It's cut off by the second baseman, Chris Taylor. And so Chris Bryant, with the 2-out double, scores Albert Almora from first base. And the Cubs now lead 5-1. So they get that run back after the errors that were committed back in the top of the 7th. And they're back out to a 4-run lead. Anthony Rizzo looking to extend it now with Chris Bryant standing on second base in scoring position. Oh, 1 on the way. It's drilled over to the first base side, but David Freese able to reach up and make the grab. Chris Bryant drives in a run on the RBI double, and the Cubs now lead 5-1. We'll be back after this.
Your attention, please. Now
Brian Dunsing on in relief for John Lester. Lester pitched 7 full innings, only giving up 1 run. That run was not earned.
Leading off for the Dodgers,
4 hits,
the shortstop.
and just a stellar performance here tonight from John Lester. In just a moment, we'll get you some 2019 numbers for Dunsing.
Nope, ball one. One ball.
He's
no
going to
strike.
start off this inning with a ball. Corey Seager lifts this one out to left center field, and that ball has a chance. It's going to make it over the wall out there in left field just barely as it gets caught in between the netting and the top of that brick wall, just barely sneaking it out on the 1-0 offering. And so Corey Seager reduces this Cubs lead to 3. And boy, I thought that ball was going to get down in the gap, but once again, it just kept carrying, and the wind is blowing out into that area. And that's going to do it for Brian Dunsing, so we'll take a rain check on those 2019 numbers for him as Joe Madden decides to bring in Steve Chiswick. We'll say Chiswick. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that.
Now batting,
Get you some 2019 numbers on him.
Turner.
As you can see, pitches from the stretch and has a sidearm delivery. 90-mile-an-hour fastball in there for a strike. May want to watch his location, as that one right in the wheelhouse of Justin Turner, who is a deep ball threat. He's going to drive this one over in the left field, and that's going to be off the ivy. But Turner, who is not very speedy, that ball maybe hit a little bit too hard, as he's going to be held to a single as the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber, is able to get it in quickly. Told you we'd get you some numbers on Steve Chiswick, and we have those pulled up now. In 2019, he had a 2.95 ERA in 70 appearances. Very reliable option for these Chicago Cubs. Gave up 7 home runs, walked 29. And all of that in 64 innings pitched. As we watch Cody Bellinger swing and miss at a fastball that was perfectly placed, a little bit off the plate, but enticing enough to get him to chase that one. Sidearm pitchers a lot of times have a lot of movement, even on their fastballs. A lot of downward action, and because of the lower delivery and arm angle, a lot of times guys can have a little bit of trouble hitting a pitcher that throws the ball sidearm. Bellinger is going to lift this one down the left field line, but it's going to get into the crowd. Foul ball. The payoff pitch on the way from Chiswick is going to be fouled off once again by Cody Bellinger. Bellinger, of course, the 2019 MVP. In 2019, only struck out, well, he only struck out 108 times in 558 at-bats. So not an easy guy to strike out is Bellinger.
Ball 2.
As he watches that one go by, and the count is brought even now to 2-2. The 2-2 on the way from Chiswick.
3-2.
That one a breaking ball that almost hits Bellinger, and the count's now full at 3-2. And things are starting to get a little bit interesting here, as with a runner on first, the count's full. David Freese is on deck, and he may get a chance to hit. Well, I was about to say he may get a chance to hit with 2 on, but instead Bellinger's going to hit this one on the ground over to second baseman Ben Zobrist, who flips it to Baez, and Baez throws it on to Rizzo for the double play at John Lester. We mentioned his numbers on the evening: 7 full innings, 4 hits, 1 run that was not earned, finished with 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. So an impressive night. He's on the hook for the win. David Freese now steps into the box and is hitting in a very different situation than this could have been, as now there's 2 out and nobody on, and he cuts and misses at the 77-mile-an-hour breaking ball that Chiswick uses to start him off. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. And that catches the outside corner on the 79-mile-an-hour breaking ball. It's 0-2. Freese stays alive as he drives that one down the left field line, but into the crowd foul. And the payoff pitch once again. It's fouled off by David Freese. Side, the count is now 1-2. You get a look at the fans in the grandstands here at Wrigley Field, rather. And that one swung on and missed by Freese. Another breaking ball from Chiswick. And he comes in and does the job he's supposed to do. But Corey Seager going deep here in this inning, and the lead is now 5-2. The Cubs on top.
Your attention, please. Now pitching.
JT Chargoy on in relief for the Dodgers, trying to keep this game where it's at. In 39 appearances last year, in 2018. Rather, he had a 3.34 ERA. Get you some 2019 numbers for him in just a moment. Javier Baez steps into the plate. Went deep back in the 4th inning. So the count's 1-1. JT Chargoy, 1-0 last year with a 6.33 ERA.
2 balls, 1 strike.
In 21 games and 21 1/3 innings pitched, he had 28 strikeouts. As he moves the count to 2-2. He did walk 5 batters last year in those 21 1/3 innings pitched. This one's hit on the ground over to the shortstop, Corey Seager, who throws on to David Freese at first, and so the shortstop Baez grounds out to the shortstop Seager. And here in the bottom of the 8th, the Dodgers have one away. Kyle Schwarber, the second of those back-to-back home runs back in the 4th inning, steps up and looks to repeat what he did earlier in this one. Chargoy looks on, gets the call, and the 0-1 is on the way.
Nope, that's low.
One on the way.
2-1.
It's going to be low on the breaking ball. 2-1. Schwarber swings and drills this one into left center field. The center fielder Pollock gives chase, and he's going to make the catch on the warning track as Cubs fans got up on their feet for that one. But it's not going to have the distance as Schwarber just missed that one. Wilson Contreras, he also homered. His came back in the 6th inning and brought this, brought the Cubs lead at the time to 5-1. Of course, Corey Seager homering last half inning, and Contreras is going to put a charge into another one, as this one is also going to carry up and out of here. His 2nd home run of the evening, and the Cubs lead 6-2. The 4th home run of the evening for this Cubs offense. And you can't blame that one on the wind. He absolutely drilled that ball. And you get another look at the beautiful swing from Contreras right there. He knew it immediately, and so did everyone else in the ballpark. A beautiful piece of hitting.
The batter, the right fielder.
And the Cubs have an insurance run here as Hayward is now going to lift one out to right field. But that'll be no problem for Cody Bellinger. And so the Cubs getting an insurance run on the Wilson Contreras home run. They lead 6-2, and the Dodgers only have 3 outs to try to tie this one up. You can see Joe Maddox there making the call to the bullpen
Ladies and gentlemen,
for their closer,
your
Brock.
attention, please. The changes for the Cubs. Now pitching and batting in the 7th spot, number 29, Brad Brock.
Brad Brock.
Right field, and
As you could hear the PA announcer
David
on that one. We'll get you some 2019 numbers in just a moment. But he looks to close this one out. He's not the closer for these Cubs, but with the 4-run lead, Joe Madden going to bring him on. And the very first pitch that he throws is going to be driven into right field by Chris Taylor and caught by the right fielder Jason Hayward. Actually, it looks like there was a defensive replacement as Hayward no longer in the game. Unfortunately, we do not have any information on who's out and right at this point. Kiki Hernandez steps into the box, and he represents a little bit of what is the Dodgers' last hopes for this one, as they're now down to their last 2 outs. Brad Bach has the count, sitting at 1-2. Gotta say, I'm a fan of this guy's number choice. When I played baseball, I wore the number 29. And of course, Adrian Beltre, the greatest Ranger of all time, and one of my favorite Rangers, wore that number for Texas and recently had it retired. Kiki Hernandez is going to strike out on the breaking ball. Wilson Contreras drops down and throws that one onto first base. And now the Dodgers down to their final out here in this one. So it'll be Austin Barnes, the catcher, standing in and watches the first pitch go by for a ball. And quickly is up in this count 2-0. Likely be looking for a fastball here. 2-0, a hitter's count. Instead, he gets a changeup that's inside, and now it's a 3-0 count. JT Chargoy on deck. You have to assume that should he have the opportunity to hit, the Dodgers will bring someone on to pinch hit. Brad Bach, 3-0. And that one looked low, but the home plate umpire says that it caught the knees. And the count's 3-1. Brad Bach, a one-time All-Star, looking to close this one out. And this one's going to be lifted. And what a play by Almora Jr. to close this one out. That ball was lazily lofted over into left center field, and it looked for a second like it might get down, but Almora Jr. laying out to make the catch, and this one is over. The Cubs win it 6-2. John Lester with 7 innings pitched and 1 run given up. You got to assume he'll be our player of the game. But the story of the night, 4 home runs for these Chicago Cubs. And their offense was just very impressive tonight.
Here now is the final line score
4
tonight.
solo home runs, 1 off the bat of Javier Baez,
6 runs, 8 hits,
1 from
2
Kyle
errors,
Schwarber, and of
left
course
4 runners on base.
2 from Wilson Contreras, and
Time of the ball game.
he'll actually be named player of the game with those 2 home runs. Of course, those 2 home runs coming with the lead safely intact, with Chicago taking the lead way back in the 3rd inning and never looking back, as 3 runs is all they would need. They had that after the 4th inning, coming off the strength of the back-to-back home runs from Baez and Schwarber. We'll take a look at the numbers from tonight's starters before we close this one out. John Lester, as previously mentioned, 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 1 run. That run was actually not earned. It shows that it's earned on this screen, but it showed several times throughout the broadcast that run was not earned. I show that only run that came while he was on the mound was a result of an E7. Schwarber not able to come up with the ball cleanly as Rizzo sailed the ball over the shortstop Baez when trying to turn a double play. But over on the other side, Walker Buehler, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits. He did have 8 strikeouts, but he gave up 3 runs, and he walked 1. Well, if you stuck with us throughout the entirety of this one, or if you just popped in for a little while, thank you so much for joining us tonight for this exhibition edition of MLB 19, MLB The Show 19, I should say. From Wrigley Field, the Cubs taking this one 6-2 over the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us.